I'll start with Stanley. Do you think it's time that we, having seen the way these energy companies are profiteering off the backs of our misery, is it time that we started to look at actually bringing it all back in-house?
Well, I can see the case for the first part of it, which is to deal with profiteering. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, the amount of as it were, windfall gain which has come to the energy companies recently, it does seem to be perfectly reasonable for the government to capture that, particularly at a time when the government has been paying some fairly massive subsidies to households to meet their energy bills. Now, on the second part of your question, Nana, was should we bring things back in-house? No, I think here you've got to look at economics. You've got to look at economics. There will be some forms of the energy dossier which make sense for us to do. There will be other forms which make sense for other countries to do. You know, it's absurd to say we have to produce every sort of energy we have. Yes, we're very good at wind energy. We have a comparative advantage. I go back to, basic Cambridge economics, the law of comparative advantage. Some things yes, some things no. So I would be against, as it were, an automatic repatriation. So we're trying to make all kinds of energy at every corner of the land. No. Concentrate on what we can do best.
Right, OK, let's go to Brian Catt. Brian.
In terms of windfall, it would be nice if the windfall is unavoidable because there's a, quote, global price for energy, which we can't control in the UK because we have very little sovereign resources. If we had our own gas, if we had our own, or more of our own nuclear, then we could control energy prices better.
When you say our own, would that be owned by us, as in the government, or would you say as a privatised entity?
I had this discussion with my MP, who's Kwasi Kwarteng, and he famously informed me that if we tried to control the price of gas that we owned that came out of underneath our ground, that would be communism. And I said it was common sense, Kwasi, because it's what happens in every country where they have natural gas reserves. It can go down to under a cent per kilowatt hour in Libya, I think, Russia, all these places. There is no global price for gas. So there's all sorts of things we can do. The other thing is, as far as the money's concerned, I would get, because we're not going to get rid of internal combustion engine vehicles for a lot longer than 2030, we need refineries that will produce petrol at a cost-effective price. And one of the problems is we don't have enough investment in new refineries because of the uncertainty of electrification.
Well, I think the economics are crucial. And frankly, if we as a country said we're going to devote an awful lot of time to rebuilding our own oil supplies and so on and so forth, the cost of our oil might be far above the market cost of oil. So we would, in the end, we would still be buying cheaper oil abroad. And do you see what I'm getting at? Unless you say the rule is that only British-produced energy can be sold in the UK, which would be a piece of nonsense. So I think economics is the key. But there's one other thing I think we really need to bring in here, and that is the whole effort as we plan our energy production, including our worldwide effort of energy production, will be indeed to meet some of the targets which have been laid down for us now by the global warming debate. And they are strong and fierce targets, and energy plays a huge role. Well, yes, and energy plays a huge role in that, and there's no doubt about it that the role of energy in the creation of greenhouse gases, CO2 and others, is absolutely crucial. I mean, it rises.